And in return, you will go from your suppliers. SARS wants every business to collect 15% from everyone who buys. As a business, you go from the wholesaler, let's say it's macro, you buy your stock, they charge you VAT. Because VAT is not taxed on a business, you must go and recover it from SARS. That's what happens. So at the end of the day, when you keep your records have got two sides. You've got receipts, you've got payments, basically speaking, isn't it?
Yes.
So you will find that you have collected money for SARS and your suppliers have charged you a VAT when you are not supposed to be charged. They have to charge you because the onus is upon you to go and recover it, get a refund from SARS. So you will be owing SARS money, 15% that you've collected from consumers on their behalf, and SARS will be owing you money that your suppliers have charged you. Are you with me?
Yes.
I used to train SAB taverners, SAB customers, your taverners. Sometimes the attitude towards tax is negative, whereas VAT is not bad news. It's not always bad news. Because if you buy a car worth 300,000, 15%, SARS can give it to you just quickly, just like that. As soon as you buy it, you get refunded because you are buying it for business. If you are tax registered, as simple as that. So the more VAT is charged for you, if you are buying like your furniture, your equipment, your stock, and you are charged VAT, you can go and claim the VAT that you have been charged. So these SAB taverners, they were realizing that by trying to evade tax, some of them were losing big time because some of them were buying big volumes, and they were not. If you are not registered for VAT, VAT becomes a cost to you because you cannot claim it. I will make. It becomes a cost to you if you are not registered. So if you qualify to register, there is compulsory registration, there is voluntary registration. If you qualify to register and it makes sense for you for your business, you need to. Let's hear it.
Please also take notes that she had a hand up.
Okay.
Just to ask, how do you determine whether or not you do qualify to register for VAT? And what is the benchmark?
Okay, who can answer that one?
Normally they say it's a state of my video, then it's compulsory, but you can also register voluntary.
Exactly. Yeah. For tendering purposes, for good standing, isn't it? But there's also a threshold of about 50,000. At least you must make 50,000 voluntary registration. So if you make your sales per month, just to add on what Lundisa said, which is very right, about 83,000, 1 million per annum, about an average of 83,000 per month. By law, if you don't register, you are in trouble. You are breaking the law. I know many businesses who have been shut down. I know one Makazi from Venda who is in trouble with SARS for tax. That's what happens. And another thing to say is that VAT is a subject on its own. It's something that I can come and train you on VAT from 8 to 5, even 2 days, just VAT. But this record keeping is very helpful. So even for the records are helpful. Remember, for you to access funding, to raise money, you need to be bankable. And what I like with myself is that I don't focus on terminology, but terminology is not bad. You are better off when you know it. Bankable, I mean it, you must be able to meet the requirements of the financiers, isn't it? Part of what the financiers expect are management accounts, records that are in order. They are going to require, remember, some of these financiers, they have to fund thousands of businesses all over South Africa. They will not be able to go to each and every business. How must they tell that you are not just a fly-by-night trying to scam them? And whether you are a genuine business, legitimate business. They need a track record, like the CV. Your finances are the CV of your business. Are you with me? Yeah, they want to see how money comes in and goes out of your business. Clear, ne? So please, I have dealt with many entrepreneurs who have not been keeping records, who have been excluded. And the other thing is that your bank doesn't keep records for you. They keep records that make sense for their business. You must keep records that make. You cannot run your business on bank statements and use bank statement as a record. If I might I can share with you, there was a time when I was running one business and I had a deposit. I had this great culture, habit, lifestyle that every entrepreneur should have of saving. I did a lot of training with the wholesale and retail sector, and I set aside 50,000 with F&B in the money market or something. Guess what? The day I went to request to call on that saving, they told me it was not there. It just disappeared. But you know what I did? I had files, bank statements for every January, February, whatever, every month. One best practice is to print out your bank statements and file them accordingly. Are you with me? You file them accordingly. I took out the file, took out the relevant bank statements, and went to FNB and said, here is the money coming in, and here are my records. I've indicated that I've deposited money with you. Case closed. They had to find what happened. There was a record of the money going in, no record of the money going out, but it was not there. But because I had my ducks in a row, I was able to get the 50,000. I don't know what happened. Maybe somehow internal theft, because let me tell you, one biggest risk that we face as business people is theft from employees. If you are a business person, you would know that wherever I go, I don't know, if you are driving a car, you drive into a workshop, there's always an employee in that business who's trying to sell you stuff on the slide. They want to make some quick buck because we are in a danger zone. Everyone is trying to harvest where they did not plow, where they did not sow. We are going to the fields to plow, they are watching you, they don't join you, but when it's time for harvest, they want to come and harvest. So we are in a danger zone. As a business person, if you are hiring employees, one source of, one biggest form of risk that we face is embezzlement, theft of money by employees in your business. Are you with me? So watch out for that one. You need to vet your employees. I was talking with one of my colleagues because I'm a friend of a small business person. That's why I call you colleagues. You are in business, I'm in business. And we are passionate about business. I was talking about vetting employees. If you don't vet your employees, I've got too many things to say, but we will not vet these things now because we don't have time. So we can talk about many things if we have more sessions. I want to move into record keeping. What do you need to record? What? Let's address the what. And I want to ask my colleagues Sharon there or whoever, when the time is up, just show me not exactly when the time is up, but when we are very close. What do you record? What must you record? What is it that we must record? Let's hear.
Money coming in and
Exactly.
money going out.
Money coming in and money that goes out. Money going out. Okay? Yes, ma'am. She's breaking it down, which is very good because we're being, you need to record stock, isn't it? Each time you go and buy stock, you need to record that stock. What exactly? Let's say we are recording stock. What do you want us to record? So, in other words, we are talking about payments. We must record payments, money coming in and money going out. We must record payments and receipts. What must we record when we record stock? What exactly must we record?
What you buy, how much you use,
Yeah, you need to what stock? What kind? You must describe the kind of stock, isn't it? You need to know what kind of stock is that, and the value, the cost of stock. You need to record that. And what else? We must say we record. Let's say we just bought stock. What else must we record? You must record the supplier. Usually, in a normal training situation, we will have groups. You will have group work because the way we train, we know you sitting here, you've got a lot of experience. I've come to learn from you as much as you've come to learn from me. So when we do a normal training session with time, you do a lot of, most of the talking. I ask the right questions and I add to what you come up with. That's how it works out. But here, it's a different thing. You also need the date on which things happen. For example, if I went to FNB and said, no, at some point I came and deposited 50,000, I would not have recovered that money. Because, or it would have taken even 6 months. They would have told you, we will charge you 3,000 because we will have to go back 12 months or 86 months. Are you with me? Yes. So you need to record the date so that when you investigate whatever is happening with that stock, you can be a sharpshooter. You are not shooting in the dark. You go straight to the issue. Supplier, the date, the value of the stock, you need to record that. But when we record cash payment, remember there is what we call stock cards. There's cash payments, there's cash receipt. But sometimes you have a stock card which records now in greater detail what is happening. So there are many systems. There's too much information to share. If you are having trouble with your stock management, there's a lot to share. What I've said is that you must reach out. One good characteristic of an entrepreneur, there was one guy from Venda, he was supposed to have written a book, who came to Pretoria. I met him through some colleagues, and he wanted me, he couldn't, what I did not know was that the guy didn't have a place to sleep. He couldn't even buy a drink from a shop, a glass of drink. What happened with the guy is that he was from Venda. He identified 2 farms, Swartdragens and Koster in Northwest. He wanted to buy them. With a guy who could not buy a cold drink, and he was being kicked from one flat to the next. So this guy came to me. One thing that was special about this guy, and what an entrepreneur must be like. I worked for my money. At the time, he was paying me 1,500. He wanted financial projections, forecasts for those 2 farms. Like how much will they cost, and how money will come in and go out, and how much profit he was going to make. I worked for that money. He was not an ignorant client. I sat with that guy because he was questioning everything that I was writing. I've never seen such a guy. He was questioning everything. We finished at 1 o'clock and then gave him the financial projection. When he needed to pay me, he couldn't pay me. And I was still young then. I went to the township, got my friend there. He was dressed for the occasion. No. I didn't go quickly. I knew a very, almost cruel lawyer. I went to him, and I was young. I wanted to prove a point. He can't make me work until 12 a.m. and he's not paying me. So I went to a very cruel lawyer. I didn't care whether the lawyer was going to pay me back or not. The lawyer went after him. I knew he was going to get the money. That man had to vomit the money. He found a way of coming up with 1.5. When the lawyer got paid, the lawyer didn't want to pay me. That's when I went to the township to get my friend. When I got there, we tricked the administrator to open the door, sunny side, and he had an intercom, and the administrator didn't ask, and the lawyer was not even expecting. He's used to doing that, mind you. We came in, we asked for the lawyer, we were shown the office, and he was sitting in a corner there. And we rounded him up, and then we said, Chief, you are going to give us the money. He got out. We were driving a Toyota, he was driving a Jaguar. And there we go on the highway. We're going to the plots, to his plot to get money. And then he begged us to stay, to wait under a certain tree. I waited, and then he came back with the money, gave it to us. That's how I recovered it. So guess what happened? To round up the story. This guy who got those projections, at the time, this is something like even 20 years back, he then took those projections, he went to win an auction for lunch with the current president. He won an auction, he didn't have money to pay for it. He was networking, he went to business people, they paid for the lunch with the current president. The current president referred him to Standard Bank. End of the story is that he owned those 2 farms worth 14 million. A guy with no cent. That is the power of determination. And that is the power of an entrepreneur who is laser focused on what he wants with passion. He owned those 2 farms. And with a wimpy attached to one of even a filling station and a wimpy. I was amazed. I didn't know. I knew through the guy who referred me to him to do the projections for him. What am I explaining? The power of passion. For you to win in a Rugby World Cup, the one who wins is the one who wants the cup badly. How badly do you want it badly enough? The Springbok wanted it enough because they wanted to show this country that when you do things, it's narrow. If you are an entrepreneur and you are solely focused on color, it doesn't work. They wanted to show that diversity is a source of strength. Even World Cup teams, the teams that win the World Cup, are the most diverse teams. It's a source of strength. You can debate it, but it is there because people from different backgrounds bring different things into work, into a project or whatever that you are doing. So that is the power of passion in what you and focus and how much you want something. Among you guys, those who want to succeed more will succeed, and those who are just whiling away time, I'm not going to succeed, they are going to be discouraged. Somebody is going to disappoint them and they will let go. But the guy who wants it badly enough, who feels like I'm a fish, if I don't do this, this is my purpose in life, this is my calling, they will succeed. Because if they can't do that, then they have no reason to live. But if it's a side, you see it as a side hustle, you won't make it. So that's the long and short of it. That is record keeping, and unfortunately I cannot project. I've got one question to ask now. We said you must record. I've got one question to ask. What is cash flow? What is cash flow management? There's record keeping, there's a cash flow template. With record keeping, you want to know how, you have to keep track of money, you have to know how much you are making in the business and how much is going out of the business. And there is something that I need to say to you. Cash flow and profit are 2 different things. They are not the same. Cash flow and profit are not the same. If I take this yogurt, I sell it to my brother here, 20 rands, and he said, I want it, come and get the 20 rands next week. Have I made a sale? Did I sell? And remember, I bought it for 10 rands, I sold it for 20 rands, but he said, come and get it next week. Did I make a profit? No. I didn't make a profit. Good answer. You know why I'm asking that question? And how do we calculate profit? Calculating profit, if I'm calculating for that unit, I will say selling price per unit, which is 20 rands. How much did I buy it? Cost price per unit. I like the answer that we've given because it's got a lesson for us. This is gross profit. And there's a lot that we're going to talk about. Come, my sister.
Can I ask, how come it's not a profit if he sold it for 20 rand? Okay, I got it for 20 rand. He's selling it for 10 rand. Even if I'm gonna make money over time, it's still a profit.
Good point. That's what I wanted. I was deliberately asking that because the reason they said it's not a profit is because they are not thinking about profit, they are thinking about cash flow. I've just given you the explanation of cash flow by saying this. I don't know if you get me. Those who are saying I didn't make a profit, it's because you are thinking about cash flow. You are not thinking about profit. They say profit is vanity. And then vanity means that it's nothing, which doesn't really, it's not true, but it's just a saying to say profit is vanity, cash flow is reality. Why? Cash flow is looking at the actual movement of money. But with cash flow, with profit, if I supply the Department of Health with a bedding worth 20 million rands, I've got a tender, 20 million rands, now it's July, I got a 20 million rands tender, I supply everything, I bought my bedding at 10 million rands, and I've sent the invoice out, it's not yet paid. I have made a profit, it's just not in the bank. The bank stuff is cash flow. It's a different problem. So when we do financial management, these are the kind of things that I talk about here. When we do financial management, which I'm dying to at some point talk about it with you because there's just a lot to learn from it. You can make, a business can go out of business, having done a 20 million business. This business is not out of business because they didn't make money. They made a profit of 10 million. 20 million rands, which is service rendered, minus 10 million for the bedding and the transport, and then 10 million profit. It is a profit, but it is not in the account. So the reason why it's not in the account is because of cash flow, the timing, I'm coming to you up. What I'm explaining is that the timing between making money and actually receiving, there's a gap, and actually receiving money, we are talking about cash flow. That's why you need to learn your cash flow. I was talking to somebody, an entrepreneur, for reason of POPIA, the protection of personal information. I'm not going to say who. Some taverners and one of our colleagues, sometimes we have the practice of paying. One taverner said to me when I was trading, proudly, I pay my DSTV at once because I don't want to think about it. From a cash flow point of view, that is not a good practice because you are taking money away from the system. That is money that you can take and buy stock and make a lot of profit before you actually pay to. Are you with me? You can even strangle your business by paying upfront. It can strangle your business. It's not entirely a good financial management practice. Let me hear from you.
So is it better to do a loan and then have the loan pay for an asset and keep the money you have for cash flow?
If you do what?
So if I want to buy an asset for the business but I have the cash for it.
Oh yeah.
So but we might as well just take a loan and have the bank pay for it and have.
That's what rich people use to make money. Rich people, you'll find they'll say this guy, Elon Musk still got a loan, isn't it? Why? Because he was not liquid enough. His money is tied up into other things. But these rich guys, they use other people's money to make money without a cent. He uses his net worth. His net worth may not be hard cash. It might be invested in shares, it might be invested in many things. And then, because he qualifies, his net worth and his balance sheet qualifies him to go and get a big loan. And they prefer to take money from the bank because they know how to make money. They use that money and they pay it back without using a cent.
I had a counter argument.
Yeah.
For instance, By the time you receive your 10 rand, could be next week, could be next year. So the time value of money depreciates over time. The reason I say you haven't made profits is because by the time you receive the 10 rand, the price of stock cycle could have gone up. So you're actually losing money over time.
Well, you and me in a training, we could be the best of friends. I'm telling you, because you're telling these are the things we talk about. But let me tell you, it's a difference. In what sense? It's you. I want to put it nice for you because you've got a point, but I need to put it nice. And you'll come in, my sister, for the sake of time. That's why I'm saying, oh, this is so nice, it needs a lot of time. Are you with me? Look, one of the mistakes that people do is that you sell on credit and you don't charge interest. That's how you address it. A cash sale should not be the same amount as a credit sale. The reason is what Baba said, because you understand this thing. That's what I'm saying, we could be the best of friends if we sit in a training room with those brilliant ideas of yours.
So with the credit, it shouldn't have been 20.
Exactly.
Percent.
Because we usually say today's rent is better than tomorrow's rent. If I give you 20 rents and you give it to me next week, the price of petrol could have gone up by that time. That is what the time value of money. These are some of the things that you and I were supposed to discuss if we had time, so that you can really get your business together. My sister, I've suppressed you long enough.
Okay, so I'm speaking from experience because I do credit sales. So now what happens is I work on a constant basis, kind of like this. The product that I'm selling has been the same price for the last 3 years. It's still the same price now. I've been charging the same price for the last 2 years, so which means my profit is the same every month. Okay, so what's gonna happen? What happens is actually because I get money anytime, like another person could take a 15, another end of the month, another one cafe, when the grants gets paid up. But now the thing is, the reason why I won't see profit is because I receive this money anytime. So that's the money that I use for just other stuff. It's not like money that I'll keep record of and whatever. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't see the profit how I'd like to see it. Record keeping, what we've been talking about now. But it's still profit because it's money I can use to do other stuff. So I hear what Stella is saying. It's true, I can't disagree with it. But what I'm saying is, it's still profit, just that I don't see it as profit when it comes because I would have used the money for other things.
And he is right, but for a different reason. It's absolutely right what he's saying. No one can say it's not right. And is that what we are saying is that a cash sale should not be equal to a credit sale. And you can have your own definition of what a credit sale is because it goes according to the credit policy of a business. Some business say a cash sale of a sale that is within 30 days is still regarded as a cash sale. So it goes according to your definition. And what he's saying is also very important. Some of the guys, I used to have like a negative perception, not to say of taverners, but oh, those guys are very clever. Those guys are very clever. They understand these things. Even our mashonisa, they know the time value of money. Again, they know the time value of money. That's why they charge interest accordingly. Let's hear from you, Baba. And we need to conclude because the time is against us. Yes.
We can finish at 12:30 if some of the guys that are scheduled today won't mind that there'll be a 30-minute lapse in their program. Then we can finish at 12:30.
Yes, thank you.
So to maybe put it in practical terms, if you're charging a customer, giving them a credit price, so they're not going to pay right now, they're going to pay at a future time. So to put it in practical terms and to make it more practical for where we're in now. So say I'm selling health plans for 1,200 and the customer is going to pay me next month for the balance of the plans, maybe you're going to pay me 600 rand. How do I then, because customers are not going to, if you come into my business and you're saying, I want this health plan and I'm saying it's 1,200, And then I say, but if you're paying on credits, it's now 1,400. How do we then speak to the customer so that they do not see this as maybe
Extortion.
In a way, because I know most customers would see it as that. Why are you charging me more simply because I'm paying next month? So how then do you price it according to the customer doesn't feel like that? Or is there like a certain percentage that you add onto it, or do you determine by the value of your goods, or you look at your business or your customers? Is there like a
You can add. When I was talking about benchmarks, how to go about that is like you can benchmark. What is, for example, when we're talking about clothing and textile, there's some guys that are brilliant that I talk to. One of your responsibility as a person, a fashion designer, is to know your industry like the back of your hand. You must know the norms and standards. What happens there? Like in an industry, there are market leaders, there are market followers. You must check what the market leaders do. You must look at the norms and standards. What is the norm in the industry? But what you can do, it's as simple as saying you will add 10% for the person who will pay later. I'm qualifying it by saying also research the norms and standards. How do your go add class work it out? That argument of saying if I sold on credit, if you go on credit and you've got an account at gas and take clothes worth 500 rands, Edgar's won't say they didn't make a profit. They made a profit because you bought. It's just that they haven't received the money. Are you with me? They bought that stock of 500 maybe at 350. They made 150 profit. It's just that profit is not always, it's not hard cash. It's different to cash. When the money will come, it's accounted for, the actual movement of money is accounted for in the cash flow statement, which is something that I'm hoping we'll talk about. So that's what you need to do. Research those who have been in the industry, how they do it, and then you might not do exactly, but you can model your practices around the norms and standards of those industries. That's what you can do. Thank you. I have come across guys who are so impressive. I've taught one guy in Cullinan, I've trained some guys in Cullinan, they were ex-inmates, former prisoners. This guy had a passion for agriculture, and they used to have this competition. They won competition in prisons to plant these big pumpkins. And there, at that training, I was so surprised. Most of us go into an industry before we are ready. Industries that we don't know. And part of having a passion for your business means, for example, if you've got passion for music or you like, say, DJ, who's Buddha, piano guys, those guys who follow them, they follow them on Twitter. Once they tweet, they know what kind of clothes they wear, they know what kind of car they wear. What is that? It's passion for that artist, isn't it? These guys follow everything. They know what car, what clothes this guy bought, because when he buys a pair of sneakers, he posts on Twitter. But when he's got trouble, he will not post on Twitter. That's the problem with those things. They only post the happy times. So here is the challenge. If you are really passionate about your business, make sure you know everything. Research. So these guys, I met two guys. One was he was in the piggery business. The other one was this former inmate who was in farming. He read everything. He used to work for a white farmer, and this white farmer was very surprised. When he gets this Farmers Weekly, whatever, he reads everything. That is the passion for that kind of a thing. The guy on piggery, now he was a production manager at one of the leading poultry producers in South Africa. Those guys, that guy knows every nook and cranny, everything about poultry farming. He will tell you about the feed, how it is fed. He will tell you about the technology that is used. Overnight, they can use a computerized system that is programmed that at 12 o'clock, such and such a pig will be fed. The machine automatically opens whatever that needs to be opened to feed the pig. This guy knows everything. And I don't have time. I was going to tell you how much money I've lost by going into businesses that I didn't know. You must know the business, the industry. As a new graduate, I bought a property, and you know our history as black people. I was probably the first person from a rural area to own a bonded property. When they showed me, the agent showed me the townhouse, I didn't even know how I got to own it. I just saw myself staying in the house. I didn't know how the processes were going. And when I bought that property, I was still young then, I didn't know what was happening, and the agent was saying, because the estate was like, there were too many people. Remember, there were too many people staying in that estate, and it was mostly white. In Pretoria, it's at a time when many black people had not moved. And I thought to myself, what did I get myself into here? Because I'm surrounded by Amelungu all over. And now he wanted to give me a property at ground level, because it's got more values for the garden, but I didn't want to hear anything of it. Why? Because I had fear. I was not comfortable. I said, no. These guys at ground level are going to be more accessible, because they were duplexes. Guess what happened? The next time I did a lot of training with wholesale and retail sitter, I had good money. I didn't know how the property market worked. I got scammed by a dodgy real estate agent who convinced me, it was long ago, to deposit 70,000 into his personal bank account. Are you with me? I did that. By the time I went after that guy, he was lying in his bed, deathbed in hospital, and there was a long queue of people that he had defrauded. So I was number 50. I could just understand that I was not going to win. What was the problem? Lack of knowledge of the industry. That you don't take money and deposit it. It must be with the conveyancer, who must facilitate, the lawyer, the attorney, who must facilitate the whole transaction. But because I didn't have industry knowledge, that's how I feel. Some of you guys are failing because you don't have industry knowledge and experience. That's why we are recommending that if you can get a personal mentor who has walked the journey before, who has been there and done it, you'll have done yourself a great favor. Are you with me? Are you in farming? Can you join? One of the things in business is that you cannot succeed in isolation. The worst place you can find yourself is isolated. If you can get a farmers whatever association and you join it and you find somebody, a Mandala who's got a lot of experience in farming and they mentor you, you are likely going to make it. That's what I see as part of your success, your journey to success, your roadmap to success. You'll agree with me, so please
10
don't.
minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes now. We have to conclude now. Thank you so much, Sharon. So basically, I want to bring it to a close. You know what? If we manage to project, it was going to be so easy. So with receipts, it's as simple on your template. It's as simple as this. Cash receipt, because a cash book, you need to have a cash book